Welcome to week 3, mentoring and team building. Last week, we discussed how to identify successful team building strategies and highlighted that all leadership starts with self-leadership, especially in awareness of strengths, weaknesses, and potential areas of sabotage. I hope it was a beneficial week for you and you learned a lot about yourself and a lot about leading others in change initiatives, especially around the possibility not only of if there'll be sabotage, but when there's sabotage and how to lead through those. This week, our focus is on mentoring and being mentored. This is a key element in your leadership and becoming a great leader in leading others. This week's key concepts are identifying and recruiting mentors for yourself. We will all need mentors throughout our lives, but then also functioning as a useful mentor in the lives of others. It's a skill you develop. Not only do you learn how to be mentored, you learn how to be a mentor for others. So that's what we're going to focus on this week. So let's start with what is mentoring. Mentoring is a relational experience through which one person empowers another by sharing God-given resources. You see, there's all kinds of mentors and mentoring relationships. That's why we say mentoring relationships may vary. They may be mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, skill-based mentoring, profession-based mentoring. And so there's just a wide variety of areas of mentoring in our lives. Mentoring is a positive dynamic that enables people to develop their potential. See, all of us have potential, but we need mentors to help us develop that potential. There's a difference between coaching and mentoring. Mentoring is adding new information or skill or insight. To put it simply, mentoring is putting in. The mentor is putting something into the life of the one being mentored. Coaching is different. We're going to talk about coaching next week. Coaching is drawing out from the wisdom that already resides inside the coachee through reflection and questions. So the mentor is adding to, the coach is drawing out. So there's a difference there, and we'll really walk through those clearly next week. Just to kind of give you a parallel, we'll use this week and next week. But in coaching and mentoring both, there has to be a trusting relationship. There has to be powerful questions. There has to be deep listening, and there has to be giving feedback. And in mentoring, you're advising and guiding. You're connecting the person being mentored to people and resources. You're giving them new knowledge. The mentor is a subject matter expert or experienced in an area. This is a person who is farther along in the area that you want to be, even in your personal health or in your mental health, in relationships, in parenting, whatever that area is, they're farther along and they're investing wisdom into you. And mentoring is clearly about outcome. It's about learning and development from others. So why do we need mentors? As you grow as a leader, new information, skills, and insights are necessary. Every time we move forward in leadership, there's more that we don't know than we do know. We think one day we'll be an expert and we don't have to learn, but that's really not true. The farther along we go, the less we actually know. And we need mentors. We need to grow in information. And mentoring supports individual career development through sponsorship, protection, exposure, and challenge. Sponsorship is where they're helping you either gain the relationships or the information or a positioning that you need. Protection in the sense of what are the dangers as you move into a new leadership position? What are the dangers around the possibilities of a job and the failure in that situation? So they're helping you there. Exposure, what are maybe some of the social, relational, business, or personal exposure that you need in your life to help you succeed in this new role? And what are going to be some of the new challenges that may not have existed before? Maybe you've never led and it's going to be your first leadership position. Maybe you've led a smaller team of 3 to 5 people and now you're moving to a larger team of 30 people. That's a huge jump in leadership, and it's going to be a challenge, and you're going to need mentors that help you grow into that new leadership position. So why do we need mentors? Mentoring addresses psychological functions in our lives. It may address certain things like how to have your best behavior in a situation. We need the emotional intelligence and the cultural intelligence to know how to behave in different settings, different culture settings. Maybe you're in a new workplace and it has different values than somewhere you've ever worked before. And you need to know what those values are and how to live out those values. Mentors help us through personal dilemmas, either inside our workplace or outside our workplace. And then mentors also help us gain a sense of acceptance by a group. How do I fit in this group? Why am I here? Why do they think I'm valuable? Why do they think maybe I'm not the best fit? Mentors help us in that situation become comfortable and confident to lead in a new and in a powerful way. Why is addressing psychological functioning so important? And this is from Dr. Robert Clinton. He was a professor of leadership at Fuller Theological Seminary, and he spent his career researching the lifelong development of Christian leaders, over 5,000 leadership studies. About 1 in 3 finish well. That means 1 out of every 3 leaders at the time that he did the study finished well. They were leading better at the end of their lives than they did at the beginning of their lives. But further evidence indicates that this ratio is probably generous today. Probably less than 1 in 3 leaders are finishing well today. It's probably closer to 1 in 5. And why? Because people are not continuing the lifelong process of learning. We understand in technology, in social context, in emotional intelligence and cultural intelligence that the world is evolving so rapidly that we need mentors to help us grow and adapt and be the best leader we can be. Clinton also states that we minister out of who we are, not just what we do. You see, Clinton was aware that we can do skill development, but skill development without character development leaves us an incomplete and incapable leader. You see, quoting from Clinton's book, The Making of a Leader, God's top priority is to conform you to the image of Christ for ministry with spiritual authority. You see, we function more out of who we are than what we do. And God wants to develop your character, and he wants your character to develop spiritual authority in your life. Therefore, our development and effectiveness as leaders are directly tied to our learning of and conforming to the image and character of Christ. See, we do this through discipleship and mentorship and coaching. We are becoming more and more Christ-like. We are growing from grace to grace and glory to glory. See, just the new job doesn't mean just a new acquisition of skills and talents and abilities and resources. It also means a deeper dive into your personal transformation, your character development, the work of the Holy Spirit in your life for you to become who God intended you to be and what he is doing in your life in this season. There's 3 factors for success in a mentoring relationship according to Clinton. And these 3 areas are what help us finish well. 1 is we keep a lifelong perspective and lifelong learning attitude. What does that mean? It means we live with the end in mind. When I finish my life, I want to be in a better place with Christ. I want to be in a mentally healthier place, healthier relational place, healthier cultural intelligence place. I want to keep growing. I want to finish better than I started. The second is I need to focus on my spiritual renewal and spiritual disciplines. What is my spiritual growth plan? Not just my acquisition of skills and abilities, technology, whatever it may be, industry awareness. I want to be growing in the spiritual disciplines that match that growth in my vocational side also. But then also I want to be in a continual mentoring process. I want to be humble and accountable. I want to be teachable. I want to be growing throughout my life so that at the end of my life, I'm still hungry to learn. I want to be more eager to learn at 55 and 65 and 75 and 85 than I was at 35. And when I do, I'm setting myself up with living my life with the end in mind, the end in view to finish well. So here's some tips for you as a protege, for you being mentored. Take responsibility for your learning. Go above even the request of your mentor. Respect the mentor's time and confidentiality. They may share some things personally with you that they're being vulnerable and transparent for your growth. And if you aren't honoring and respectful of that, you may hinder or maybe even end that mentoring relationship. Don't ask for favors. If favor is supposed to take place, it'll take place, but don't ask for it. Actively listen, be engaged, take notes, repeat back to them in later mentoring appointments what you learned in previous appointments, and then give back, give into the relationship, buy lunch, buy coffee, give gifts, because what you're doing is you're saying, I value this, and you're reciprocating what they're investing in you, and you're learning how to be one who passes it along, even in the mentoring process. One of my mentors is Dr. Terry Walling, and he says you can't find clarity alone. That in what I've seen in the lives of so many leaders is they get into places where they don't know what to do, and they don't know where to go next, and they don't know what the next step should be, and they try to figure it out all by themselves instead of calling for the people in their lives that are mentors that can help them see and maybe understand and explain to them what directions they took in the past, even if it was the wrong decision, to know how to make the right decision. Remember, we can't find clarity alone. We need these people in our lives. So here's some key questions for times that you are a mentor. So what you ask when you begin a mentoring relationship is you ask, what are your goals in this relationship? You ask the person you're mentoring, where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? Because that helps you know what they need to prepare themselves. You ask them, what are your greatest challenges right now? And if they're not sure, they may not be in a place that they're ready to be mentored, because people who are being mentored know they have challenges they need wisdom for. And then you ask, what part of your job most excites you? You need to know what their heart and their passion. You need to know what motivates them. And then you ask the last one, what motivates you? And this may sound like different questions, but you can have a job that cultivates your passion, but the outcome of the job might not motivate you. The accomplishment of a goal might not motivate you. Making more money might not motivate them. What motivates them? And knowing this helps you mentor them better. So here's some core skills for mentoring others. You should come prepared. You should talk about the big picture. What is the big picture you're trying to accomplish? You should discuss the protege's needs. You should seek mutual agreement. You should literally write this out in a mutual agreement on the goals and the expectations, the responsibilities. They may want a short-term mentor and you think it's going to be a long-term. So define the time. Be specific and clear on the times and the locations where you're going to meet. Always, always, always practice confidentiality, and be transparent in your mentoring to the level that trust in the situation allows. Don't share more than you should, but do share personally. Be vulnerable and transparent, because that cultivates that mentoring relationship. These are 3 great questions for mentoring and ministry that a retired pastor taught me. What makes you laugh? What makes you cry? What are you dreaming about? You can learn a lot about people you're mentoring with these 3 questions. They're great questions. So this week's study, our homework, our exercises are going to discuss this aspect of mentorship in our lives. And in our discussion post, the scenario is going to be Gabriella's mentor. As Gabriella's mentor, you're going to be mentoring Gabrielle. Your entry this week is to respond to her situation. What questions would you ask her to help her clarify her thinking? What trade-offs are present in her decision? And what recommendations would you make and why? Then, of course, we have our reading response. And again, please give us what percentage of the reading you've done, and read the review. Give us the main themes, the analysis of the author's perspective, and application, personal application plan. We're going to be reading this week from the Harvard Business Review, from Coaching and Mentoring. I think there's going to be some great resources for you. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much. We believe this is really being helpful for you in your leadership, and we're excited to hear your reflection about what you're learning about mentoring this week. Have a great week. Thank you.